Hey, welcome. Glad you're all here. Thank you for taking the time this evening to come and be a part of the proceedings. Let me remind you that this is a formal council meeting, so cell phones and other electronic devices need to be put away at this time, except for Texas Government Code 551.023. Let me also remind you that since it's a formal council meeting, that the decorum for city council meetings is expected. Please, no personal attacks on council members or city staff will be allowed. And that goes the same for council. All right, so I call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a quorum this evening with Councilmember Johnson live on Zoom with us. City Secretary, proof of notice, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The notice of this meeting was posted by 2 p.m. on Friday, March 3rd.
Okay, great, thank you. City Secretary, any public comments this evening?
Yes, first up, we have Kathy Bork, Ward 5.
Okay.
She'll be speaking on the Alpine Public Library item.
All right, great.
Good evening. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. I've volunteered for the Alpine Public Library for 20 years, and during all that time, you have generously supported us. I hope as you enter your new budget cycle that you continue to do so. And I would like to share with you the sorts of things we do. Our outreach efforts change continually and are expanding greatly. At present, we're serving the community through the following avenues. We have digital literacy classes, English as a second language, high school equivalency, adult education, citizenship, English and Spanish conversation classes. We have family science nights where our Mary Beth Garrett, our children's librarian, designs really interesting science projects, and the families of children are invited to participate as well. We have Fluffy Fridays where we bring animals from the Humane Society and the animal shelter to the library. We have a homebound patrons program for people who cannot get to the library. We take books to the Brewster County Jail once a month. We have karate classes. We have a library of things, for example, sewing machines, seasonal cake pans, jigsaw puzzles, all of those things are available for checkout. We have multiple social media outlets. We have multiple online electronic resources, for example, interlibrary loan, text shared databases, Learning Express, genealogy databases, home improvement databases, legal form databases, free ebooks, and a foreign language Mango app it's called. We have quarterly and weekly newsletters. We have a senior coffee and tea every Friday in the library. It's free with the Women's Club. We have monthly travel talks, which are recorded and put on the library's YouTube channel. We have workshops. For example, we have a dance workshop coming up in March, and we just had a writer's workshop that was very successful. We share used books with the train station, the visitor center, the elementary school, the food pantry, with Terlingua, with the Sunshine House, and with the Sul Ross Music Department. We have a yarn arts program that meets every Friday. We have yoga every second Saturday. We have Zumba classes 3 times a week. We even have a notary public. We have a multiplicity of children's programs, including Cubelets, which is a robotics program. We collaborate with the Granada Theater for a lot of their children's programs. We have Makerspace Saturdays, which is, what's that thing called? The 3D printing? Yeah. I'm old, I don't know about these things. We have Spanish language story time. We have the Library Lizards after school program, toddler time, and various reading programs. And all of these things are free. We don't charge for anything. So as you begin your budget deliberations, I'd like to remind you that they really aren't free. And if you please would continue to fund us as you have done for more than 20 years at as high a level as you possibly can. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
City Secretary, any more?
Yes, next up, we have Karen Cantrell, Ward 1, speaking on resolution 2023-0301.
Good evening, council, city manager, city secretary. My name is Karen Cantrell. I'm from Ward 1. And I have the pleasure of picking up Annie sometimes for our night sky team meetings. Well, at least until I get to Let's Gear Road. That road is one rough ass road, pardon my French. It was supposed to be paved years ago, and now we're going to have them put in a second edition. I sincerely hope that that road will be paved before the second edition. It's horrible. The people can't walk along there. They walk their dogs and walking. One person steps on a rock and they'll be thrown out into the road. They could be hit and killed. One car could hit a rock and veer off and hit something else. It's a horrible road. It needs to be repaired. It needs to be paved. And I hope somebody listens. Thank you for the opportunity and have a good evening.
Thank you.
That concludes public comments this evening. So your discretion. No.
Come on up.
Thank you. I signed the wrong sheet. There was the new one.
Right, the new one.
And so,
Yeah, it's new. It just-
yeah, sorry
It's gonna
about
be a
that.
part of the official minutes.
Thank you for diverting to allow me to speak. I'd like to comment on the Alpine Public Library report and also action item number 7. I want to second what Kathy said about the library. It's been about 20 years, as I reckon, since there was an increase of funding from the city. The county's gone down and up. They were about the same, and will of course be making the same request to the county. But over that time, the number of library cards, the number of programs, the amount of circulation, brand new building, so many things have happened. And the percentage of the library's budget that is represented by the county and city support 20 years ago, 85%, now 40%. And so all of that difference has to be made up by volunteers having a fish fry at the American Legion, doing a silent auction at Art Walk. It would be great if that money that gets raised could be for extras, and not for barely keeping staff really not paid well enough for the great service they're doing for the community. So once again, as the budget cycle comes up, I just make that pitch to consider the library. I know that you have a lot of priorities and a lot of pressure on every tax dollar, but I just want to put that in there. And on your final action item, the letter of support and partnership for the Afro Food, Fashion, Arts, and Dance Festival. This is an exciting, innovative idea that Ani had brought up, and I really encourage you guys to support it. I know that regardless, I'll be doing everything I can to assist her like I do for all the events. But one of the things we really encourage, particularly for people submitting requests for hotel funding, is innovative and interesting and new things to add to the menu of great events that we have. And this is certainly new and exciting. So I just want to throw my support in there as well. Thank you.
Can you say your ward of
Of
residence?
course, I'm in Ward 3.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so moving on, presentations, recognitions, proclamations, none. Reports, city mayor report. So I just wanted to update everybody about the nonprofit Alpine Community Projects, the nursing home initiative. We went before the hospital district board a couple of weeks ago, and they are going to give us the money so that we can move into phase 2. So that's incredible. That's incredible news. So they'll give us up to the 14,000 that we need. And then also I sit with the zoning and planning commission, and we had a meeting on Monday, the 27th. The big items there were discussing historic districts and creating some historic districts. And then also for the council, we had given them some directives on what we wanted to do, and they've broken those down and have each of them have taken 1 or 2 of those directives to start working on. So they're moving along quite well. All right, city attorney.
Mayor and council, Gio and I have started a process, but when we have ordinances coming up, I'm gonna get involved with him a little earlier and make sure I weigh in, and that both of our heads get involved in the ordinance drafting. Normally I don't comment on litigation, when the city hasn't even been served a lawsuit, but it was in the newspaper that the city had been sued by a former employee named Hector Holguin. The city hasn't been formally served. It's a state court lawsuit. The case has been referred to Texas Municipal League Risk Pool. They've accepted coverage of it. They've assigned a lawyer from a middle law firm to defend it. The lawsuit basically is complaining about actions taken by the district attorney against man. He was later terminated from working for the city while he was under indictment. So we'll let the civil lawyers in the Texas Municipal League handle that. I don't anticipate any financial issues from that to the city. I'm continuing to work on a new franchise agreement with AEP. The city's current franchise agreement is what an electric franchise agreement is. It's an agreement between the city and the electric provider for the city that allows that electric provider to use city streets, alleys, and other property to put their poles and everything. It's normal. The Public Utility Commission gives cities the right to set a rate for the use of the city property. In the past, it's always sort of been imposed on cities a very small rate. It's just a tiny fraction of the electricity consumed. Better practice in Texas now has moved to where cities can charge a percentage of the bill that each customer pays. And it appears to be best practice in Texas used by other cities, including Buda and some other cities around Austin, to add 5% to each electric bill that would get added onto the bill. And a shorter term instead of a 4-year term, 5-year term. We propose that. AEP doesn't like that. Still negotiating. So we'll see where we end up with that. But if that comes to pass, it would be some additional revenue for the city that's not gonna. It would just be a pass through to the customers. A little bit major thing, because remember that the AEP part of the electric bill is just part of the electric bill. The bigger part of the electric bill is the electricity. The retail customer, the person that generates the electricity. So this is just a smaller part of the electric bill for the use of the wires and poles. And then municipal court, we have another municipal court this month, Thursday. Had it 2 weeks ago. There were no dismissals by the city attorney like 2 weeks ago in municipal court. The having municipal court twice a month has worked out very well. We're starting to keep up with the docket quite well. I was checking with the municipal court clerk today, and I have to, but maybe everybody in Alpine chief is starting to obey the law, but she said the number of tickets is down the first couple months of the year. So anyway, that's going well. So any questions for me?
Thank you. Thank you. Jerry, did you have any questions?
No, I'm okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, city manager, no report. City staff update, none. Public hearings, none. City secretary, consent agenda, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight's consent agenda contains 2 items. Item 1, approval of February 21st, 2023 regular meeting minutes. And item 2, approval of January 21st, or actually January 2023 Big Bend law invoice.
Okay, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I need a second.
Excuse me, I'm going. I wanted to pull one out.
Okay, which one would you like to
I
pull
move
out?
that we table the approval of the January 2023 Big Bend law invoice until the city attorney has had a chance to visit with the city attorney on some issues with the billing.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay,
I'll make a second. I'll make a second.
second. Okay. All right, so let's vote on consent agenda number 1. Item number 1. All in favor, raise your right hand.
We didn't get a second on the motion.
I made that a
To
move.
approve the first item.
Okay,
Did you?
okay, we need a second on the first item. Thank you. A second on item number 1.
I'll second it.
Okay, all right, so let's vote for item number 1. All in favor, please raise your right hands. Okay, it's unanimous. Okay,
Now, just for my own clarification, we tabled item number 2.
Yes.
yeah, we need to vote on that though,
Clarification.
correct?
Yeah,
We've got our second. We need to vote. Okay, for consent agenda item number 2 to be tabled, all in favor, please raise your right hand.
Why are we tabling it? I mean, I second it. Now aren't we to discussion?
You can only discuss it if you move it out of consent. Consent is literally just a blanket approval.
No discussion, consent, that's just- Okay,
So what are we doing?
You're tabling it, so it'll go back on another agenda.
all right, all in favor of tabling item number 2, please raise your right hand. Okay, that's 1, motion fails.
Okay, then we'll do it here in public. I move that we move item number 2 to action items.
so you can just request to have item number 2 discussed separately.
Okay. And discuss it now?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so I need a second for that, please, to discuss item number 2
But
separately.
you don't really,
All right, so discussion.
Okay. Rod, I have some questions on the billing. I'm sorry, I thought we were going to do an action, so I didn't pull that out. So give me just a few minutes. Okay. On January the 2nd, Rod, you had review of the agenda and packet for 1-3. And it was for about 45 minutes. And then that same day, you charged for an hour of prepping for the Taunton 1-3 City Council agenda item. Can you tell me what item that was for?
I don't have the 1-3 city council agenda in front of me. I don't even have a copy of that bill in front of me. If you want to give me a copy of it, I'll have to review it.
No, I don't. That was your bill, so I figured you'd have it here for this. I can't give you mine because that's where my notes are. I can show it to you.
It is my habit as a city attorney to review the agendas before city council meeting.
That's fine, but you're charging close to 2 hours twice to review an agenda that really, there was nothing to review on your end as far as legally. Actually, and also on the 3rd, you charged for 2.5 hours. The meeting was 1.5 hours. So you had an hour to prepare. So that's almost 2.5 hours, and I'm not sure what you prepared for. As you can see, there's really nothing on that agenda that you would have charged for.
The billing I do is for the work I spend for the city.
No, I understand, but what kind of work are you doing to prepare when there's nothing on the agenda? I'm just questioning, you also did that on the following weeks, what? You charged twice, you charged to prepare it the day before, and then you charge on the day of. On the 17th, when you did that, like I said, you charged to prepare almost 2 hours again. Your little spill to us was 2 minutes. I just want to know what is taking so long to prepare. There really isn't anything.
The on the January 3rd meeting, y'all wanted to have a review of some of the actions I've taken. I wanted to make sure I reviewed them all and was ready to prepare and answer anything that's on my list.
What actions?
Hmm?
What actions?
Look at 8.5,
I can't, you have my agenda, so what is 8.5?
discussion regarding city attorney. Y'all had that discussion on January 3rd. Because you wanted to have that discussion, I wanted to make sure I reviewed everything carefully.
Review what?
Things in the past and things that were gonna come up on the agenda.
The only thing that was on the agenda, I think, was your performance. So there was really nothing to review or prepare for that. So I feel that we're spending a lot of time, and a lot of money, taxpayers' money, to pay for you to prepare when there's really not much.
You know, when I came into being city attorney, I reviewed the previous city attorney's bills. Your
We're not
former
talking-
employer,
we're-
Sandy
we're not
Wilson,
here to talk
charged you
about the
$10,000 to
previous-
$12,000 a month. And I don't think you ever complained about that.
We're not here to talk about the previous city manager, I mean,
City attorney.
city attorney, okay? We're here to talk about this and why you charge so much.
I don't charge so much. My bills are modest. But they're certainly half of what the previous city attorney was.
We're
charging.
not discussing the previous city's attorney, Rod, please. I just want to know what takes 2 hours to prepare for a meeting that you have nothing to discuss.
Do you want a city attorney who's gonna be prepared when they show up for city council?
I want a city attorney that's going to charge the city of Alpine for the work he's doing and nothing more. On 1/5, you charged half an hour. You were in City Hall to do follow-up and case reviews. According to Linda, you never take more than 5 to 10 minutes with her before you're off to something else. Yet we're paying almost an hour. On 131, you charged for follow-up on defendant inquiries. When on 119, you were instructed never to speak, not to speak to defendants outside of court. Yet a week later, you're charging for that. I just want to know that the bills that we're paying are accurate.
The
and that
bills
we're-
you're paying are accurate. I cannot limit a citizen who may call me about a municipal court matter. When they call me, I can tell them that this matter will be taken care of at city court. If they call me about a matter, I might check with Linda, or I might come down here to look into that matter. I'm not going to resolve it outside of court, but I can't keep people from contacting me. This is a small town. People know that I'm the city attorney.
I understand that, but just as instructed, you need to inform them that you cannot discuss it and you
I
will.
do that.
So that shouldn't take that long. I'm just, like I said, I'm a little bit worried that it's, and I don't think I'm the only one. Of course, I'm not talking about council, but there are issues with the billing and how it's going. So I'd like you to be a little bit more precise with your billing. Megan is used to go through the bills, and there were plenty of corrections being done previously too.
You and the council also don't see a lot of bills for me where I come in and spend half an hour with Linda going over municipal court matters. You don't see
We're
bills where
seeing
I
them.
might come in and
We're-
talk to Gio. You don't see other things that I do that I don't bill for.
Oh, we're seeing you bill almost 30 minutes for opening an email and stuff like this. So I think we're pretty much paying you for the work that's being done.
Okay, city parliamentarian, where are we at?
So, the council can go ahead and make a motion to approve, or if y'all want to table it, it's up to y'all. So you need to make-
approve the bill.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, 4 in favor, 1 opposed. All right, moving on to information or discussion items. Number 1, Mr. Don, come on up.
Good evening. Thank you.
Good evening.
With the glowing comments from Kathy and Chris, I don't have anything else to say. But I will try not to repeat things that they did, and I would give you some other information about the library. Kathy already mentioned the adult education classes that we're doing now. And we do group classes, and most of those are citizenship and English as a second language and Spanish conversation and the TOEFL. We also do one-on-one tutoring. And we also currently have 70 students and 8 tutors in our adult education program. We finally became an authorized Pearson Jude Pest Center at the end of January, after about 4 months of back and forth paperwork and pictures and everything. And in February, we did 5 high school equivalency tests. So that's going along well. Our testing hours are Monday and Tuesday from 9 in the morning till 5 at night. And on Saturdays from 9 until noon. We are excited to say that we're getting ready to start our first group high school equivalency class. And that's going to happen around the end of March. We're going to have a registration on the 27th. We're going to have a baseline testing on March 28th. And on the 30th, there will be an orientation and classes will start on April 3rd. It'll be a 10-week class. 3 nights a week, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 5:30 to 7:30. So we're going to be working on Spanish. We're working on science, math, and social studies to start with. And hopefully, after the end of that 10 weeks, we'll have a few people that are ready to take their high school equivalency test. And we have, by the way, 2 teachers that are willing to do that. One of them is going to do math and science, and the other is going to work on social studies. I also want to report on some of the statistics from last year. These numbers will go into our state report. We had just over 32,000 visits to the library, which is not as much as pre-pandemic numbers, but it's getting up there. We circulated almost 32,000 materials. The library currently has 26,981 materials in our collection. The Rereads bookstore had 11,581 visits. And we had an attendance of 3,256 people at 236 youth programs and 2,270 people at 312 adult programs. And talking about library cards, we issued 326 new cards last year, which averaged about 27 cards a month. And for the first 2 months of this year, we're still on about that same track. Kathy mentioned the adult programs that we have, and she covered everything. I do want to emphasize the homebound program and the library jail. We keep that up with our volunteers. Kids programs, we do Tinkercad training, and Tinkercad is a 3D design program, teaching kids how to make their own 3D objects, and then they can print them on our 3D printer. We're also been doing that at the Terlingua library or school library. They don't really have a library there now, but been teaching the kids to Tinkercad, and they can send their file to the library here. We can print it. And then we've had a sheriff deputy that goes back and forth. He'll take the printed objects back down to Terlingua. So that's been a nice thing to do. So we have design 3D objects and we have 3D printers. And I want to mention that both of those things are popular because we got a grant from the Institute of Museum and Library Services and the Texas State Library and Archives Association. Without that money, we wouldn't have been able to do these things. Other kids programs, we have Toddler Time, which is for kids up to age 5, which is very popular. That's every week, and we usually have 25 to 30 people come to that. We have Library Lizards, which is for grades 1 and 2, and it's STEM projects and some reading, and they do some crafty stuff. And then Kathy mentioned the Cubelets, which are little square robots that are about 1.5 inches square. And they can act on them their own. They can move around, do whatever you want. The kids can program them. The nice thing about them is you can put multiple cubelets together and make another bigger kind of robot. This has been a really popular classroom activity. And speaking of other activities, since the beginning of the year, Mary Beth has done 32 classroom visits and served over 576 kids in the schools. And we're getting ready. We've just submitted a grant to the Texas State Library to get some money to help do some reading programs for the younger kids. One of the big popular programs at the beginning of the year after Christmas vacation is dental health. And again, we go to the schools and we do a dental health program. They do Happy Tooth projects, they do reading, and the ever popular exploding toothpaste demonstration, which everybody really likes. Wanted to mention some upcoming programs. Next week on March 16th, Thursday, Arcos is going to be in town. They're going to do a dance workshop at 4 p.m. at the library, and they're going to give a live performance at 8 that evening. They're on a tour of West Texas, and it's being funded by Texas Commission on the Arts. And I think on Friday, the next day, they're going to be in Marfa. And then we have a family science night coming up on April 1st. That's geared kind of towards kids in K through 6th grade or age 6, and all ages are welcome. It's a great opportunity for parents to come and work with their kids. And a lot of times the parents are as interested in the projects as the kids are. So we've had 70 or 80 people, at some of those things. Fundraising. Our Art Walk silent auction was very successful last year. We made $27,000, which I think is our best one yet. We participated in Permian Basin Gives last month and made $6,100. And we have a fish fry at the American Legion coming up on the 31st of March. A couple of other things I want to mention. First is a Big Bend Regional Resource Directory. And that came about in 2021. We had a community reads project. And the idea was to talk about healthcare issues in rural communities. And for this project, we asked everybody to read a book. We had individuals and book clubs, and they read End of October, which is a book about a pandemic, written by Lawrence Wright. And after people read the book, Lawrence Wright came on and gave us an online author talk, which was really interesting. And then the next thing we did was have a community forum. We had about 30 community members and members of the healthcare profession to come in and talk about issues people had with healthcare in our area. And the number one thing that came up was they don't know how to get stuff, or they don't know where to find information. And so we were going to work with the Big Bend Regional Hospital District to work on a directory in 2022. That never quite got going. And then they asked if the library would like to write a grant to do this directory last fall. And I said, okay. And we got some money. So now we have to do it. But so the purpose of the whole thing is to improve access to community resources. And primarily, we're going to look at healthcare resources, things like transportation, getting help with utility bills. We're just putting together a list of things we think people might need. We're going to use another nonprofit, the San Antonio Community Resource Directory has a similar kind of thing. And they've gone through all the work of creating a website and doing all this stuff. And they are looking for other nonprofits to spread this around the state. And so we're going to work off of their platform, create this directory. We'll be able to brand it for the Big Bend area, and it will be, ours. But we'll use all of their facilities that they have to get it going. In addition to a web-based thing, we'll obviously have something printed too, because we have a lot of people that don't use computers. So we're going to have something for them. The biggest thing on this is to make sure that it's updated and that people have access to accurate information all the time. So our deadline right now is to try to get it online by July. One other thing I wanted to mention is our expansion. I think I've probably been talking about our expansion since 2017. And we've been raising money since then. And it's been kind of difficult the last couple of years, kind of everything put on hold. But this fall, we had some real success. I got grants from the Permian Basin Area Foundation, the Stillwater Donor Advised Fund, the Permian Basin Area Foundation, King Foundation, Abel Hanger Foundation has offered us a match for every $2 we raise. They'll give us $1 up to $100,000. And I'm happy to say we're just about $20,000 away from getting that extra $100,000. And then we're going to use the Talker Foundation. They've done a lot of work at Alpine Public Library. They helped us buy the furniture for the library over here, and they're willing to help us again. The bad news is that the library furniture has almost or more than doubled in cost over the last couple of years. The good news is that the Tucker Foundation has raised their maximum amount of a grant from 50,000 to 100,000. So we'll be writing a grant a little later this spring, and we've had an architect. They've had an architect come in and design a furniture plan. We picked furniture colors and all this stuff. So we'll see how that goes. And the other thing we had is a private donor that offered us $10,000 if we could raise $10,000, and we did that. So we got another $20,000. So I'm getting very confident that we're close to being able to get started. And that's about all I got.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Pearson View? Is that for college students who can come and take exams? How does that work? What is?
Well, they have hundreds of tests, everything from real estate tests to appraisers, that kind of thing. Right now, we are only set up to do high school equivalency. So this will be for people that want to get their high school equivalency certificate. But we will have access to that other stuff. If the need arises and somebody needs to come in and do that, we should be able to get set up.
Good.
So then they won't have to travel to El Paso or.
El Paso or Midland, yeah. That's what we're trying to do. The other thing I should mention is if people are interested and want to come to our program and go through that 10-week class, if they have to pass a pretest that says they're ready to take the GED, but if they pass that pretest, we can pay for the test. I can get vouchers to pay for the test. So everything's free if they. The hard thing is sticking to it.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yeah, over there.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Information or discussion item number 2, Family Crisis Center, the Big Ben, report by Andrea.
Evening, everybody.
Hello.
I noticed there was nothing in your packets. I did bring copies if you like them of the report itself.
They should be received a week in advance.
Yes.
The y'all's discretion if you want to accept it. It is against the rules.
I have. Okay.
Anybody like?
I will too. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. As you look over this report, you can see that the money is split into 3 months, the month of October, November, December last year. With your generosity, you help keep the lights on and water running and the telephones ringing. We greatly appreciate it. I can go into depth as to how much of the percentage of the grand total it covers if you like. It does go through, part of it goes to our insurance, telephone expenses and office utilities.
So it's really, what we're giving is really not used for client services.
No. But in a way it is because, like, again, the electricity is on. That does go into our shelter, things like that, keeps the heater running in the winter time. Telephone expenses, when we do have clients come in and they have to use a phone, whether it be internet, whether to fill out legal work, things of that nature. It does go towards our clients that we serve.
Any other questions or comments? Councilmember Johnson?
No, I think they're doing a magnificent job and I appreciate the updated report.
I think y'all do a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea.
with what limited resources you have.
Yes, very much.
Yes, so we try and, we do a lot of work in our grant work and you may think, if the money would go more, you would say directly to our clients, like in their pockets, like we do rent assistance, things like that. We do use our grant money that we get. When we put out those numbers to grants, that we use their grant money more specifically towards the clients themselves. That gives us like positive points on their end. So in the end, we get more money off of the grants, the federal grants, state grants, things like that. But we do not, the money that we get from you guys is just a blessing and we appreciate everything, no matter the amount.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, information item number 3, Parks and Rec Board update, Darren.
Hello, council. Darren Nance, Parks Board, person, whatever that title is. Just gonna go over a couple things with you guys, I guess, from the last 3 months that we've had. Just 3 quick slides. The first slide is, I always reach out to TK and Adelina, just kind of see, to give you all an update on kind of where these organizations are over the last 3 months. BV Parks is TK Santos. She's the president of that. She is, they said they are going to postpone fundraising for a splash pad for a bit and focus on fundraising and coming up with ideas to help with the Pueblo Nuevo project there. So they'll be meeting with the community this spring to discuss what they would like to see at the new playground over at Pueblo Nuevo. Adelina said, keep Alpine beautiful. We are working with her a little bit on this, but hosting an Earth Day, April 22nd event, which will be at the downtown farmers market. I think that's the same weekend we'll be doing Spirits of the West too, the art walk board. So that should be a fun event on that Friday, Saturday. The Earth Day event will be on Saturday, April 22nd at the farmers market. And she's also hosted cleanups with the community and the Sol Ross women's soccer team, which I think was recent there and staff. And she is reaching out to the National Honor Society with the high school to do, I believe, the next cleanup. Just kind of going over the 3 meetings that we've had with Parks Board. December, we missed a meeting due to Christmas holidays. January, we lacked a quorum. So we currently have 2 open seats. So we have 5 of the 7 seats positions for those seats. So if we lose 2 people or if 2 people don't show up, then we can't make a quorum. February, we just met. Our next meeting tomorrow, if anyone wants to show up, but February, this is just over some of the council tasked us with 9 items for the year to kind of go through. And these are the 5 that we split them up between individuals. So we're individually kind of working on these and we come back with information and discuss it at the actual park board meeting. So just kind of go over those real quick. Updating and consolidating park rules. Ms. Cantrell is doing that one. She is the vice chair. We voted for positions last meeting. Research and advise on festivals and event permitting. That's Ben Struthers. Update and advise on park rental fees. That's one I took. And I was just going to mention, I met with Eddie Molinar recently, just kind of going over research on that. I was asking, what does it take for them to set up, break down for the Civic Center, as well as like events over at Coconut Pavilion, to kind of see how much cost that is to the city, to see what could be, I'm sure those prices hadn't been raised in quite a while. So to see what that cost is to the city. The 4th one there is update inventory of current playground equipment. That's Ms. Santos. And she, at the meeting tomorrow, she has a long list. So she's been going park by park and she's going to have a list of kind of things that could be paint, could be touched up and items like that, but a good inventory of all the park systems, see what's available there. And the last one was the information for the utility bill donation, which we worked with Ms. Antrim on. And I think that one is moving forward on that. So that's everything over the last 3 months. I guess if there was any questions or.
That's a lot, Darren. Thank you.
I think we got a great board. So
Yeah, Darren, how many seats do you have open?
2 seats out of 7 total. So 5 sitting members.
1 Ward 2 and 1 Ward 5.
Ward 2, Ward 5.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, information or discussion item number 4 is going to be withdrawn from discussion because he was not able to attend. Was Mr. Don Shipley. And that moves us on to action items. Okay, action item number 1, city manager.
Approve the, sorry, Approve the first reading of ordinance 2023-0301, an ordinance providing for parking controls in the 100 block of West Gallego Avenue and the 400 block of South Fifth Street. We did have this item as a discussion item at the last meeting. The church did reach out, and our chief of police, Daryl Lasoya, has been working with them. Originally, the parking had been changed in 2020. Some of the handicap had been removed that was up against the church, and then they created the additional opposite side of the road of Gallego for handicap parking, and then established the fire lane that goes up Fifth Street. It's been a few years. I think they've had the opportunity to evaluate it. Several of the members of the Catholic Church and the priests themselves have reached out and said, hey, we really need to bring the parking back over to that side. They do have a larger elderly population that attend on a regular basis. It is kind of a security for them. It would not remove the fire zone. I know I have spoken with Daryl about, hey, there's a person parked there, they shouldn't be there. Actually, we want to make sure that that fire zone is accessible, because that was a concern prior. Daryl has been actively continuing to work with this. We did not get the feedback on changing any of that ordinance, if there was anything we wanted to add or subtract. So I hope you guys will consider it.
I need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2023-03-01.
Okay, I need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion. Okay, seeing none, let's vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, it's unanimous. All right, action item number 2. Megan.
Approved resolution 2023-0301, a resolution initiating annexation proceedings and setting dates, times, and places for public hearings on the annexation of the proposed Skyway Gardens 2 development, legally described as 5.00 acres out of section 102, block 9, Brewster County, Texas, being a portion of that certain 10-acre tract described in volume 314, page 453, official public records of Brewster County, Texas. So in order to move forward with any type of annexation, the individual or group that is requesting to be annexed has to initiate the process. That was changed in 2019. We can't just go annex them ourselves. So Skyway Gardens Development has submitted the initial request, requesting that we start the proceeds to move forward with annexation. This is just the first step. This isn't saying we're annexing. This is just saying, hey, we want to be annexed. This was a discussion item when the city had them here to discuss showing support for the additional development. So with this process, because council did just recently pass the last ordinance in regards to notification, there is that additional step to provide notice to the groups around the 200 feet area of that property. This is just to get us on track. This is to get it on the calendar. This is to get the ordinances in place so that we can move forward.
Okay, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-03-01.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I want to ask a question. It seems to me like at the last meeting, we weren't going to annex them until we could provide city services like water and sewer. So I was wondering if there was a way Rod could write some kind of a contingency clause within this annexation request that it's predicated on whether or not we can actually provide the services that they need for their development.
Councilor, I could propose an additional section 4 to the resolution that would say the following. The city attorney is hereby directed to negotiate and enter into a written municipal service agreement and a development agreement with the owners of the land for the provisioning of services in the area should the annexation pass, with said agreements to be included in the annexation ordinance for city approval. In other words, that would, if the city can provide the service, the city said they want to do that, that would be something that would be part of it.
I am gonna
There
follow up
is-
with that. Sorry, Jerry. So
Is
we
there a way
had
that we could
discussion.
add that as an amendment to the motion?
Yes, Jerry, it can be added. But I do want to remind council, we had that discussion when they asked for the letter of support. And we did already pass the resolution supporting them. We've already said we will provide services. We've already indicated that gave them the blessing, move forward with the application. Putting that type of contingency in place, I don't know what that will do to their application in the process. We've already said we're gonna do it. And if we do have issues with the water side, that was the comment of, well, we gotta start somewhere. And so we would address that. I don't think putting a contingency in something we've already said, move forward with it, is probably in our best interest.
I agree, because that was, that was discussed.
You shouldn't be participating in this discussion since you work there.
Since I wasn't
Councilor
where,
Rodriguez,
where
you work at Skyway Gardens.
I can discuss, I can't vote.
You shouldn't discuss.
I think Chris needs an opportunity to express her concerns about this issue.
Thank you, Jerry, but that's okay.
I mean, this was the big discussion we had,
No,
and putting in that
so-
contingency after the fact, it does not look good on the city. We've already said we may have problems. We've already moved forward with the feasibility study. Whether, we have issues or not.
Have you heard anything back from them?
No, well, they need a lot more information from me.
Good job, man.
Yes. They've already started actively working on it. We don't know what's gonna happen, but I would hate to put in an item that we previously discussed saying, hey, yeah, we know we have problems, but move forward with your project.
Yeah, I agree with you. We don't need to add that.
And we do have in that resolution, there is a section where the city attorney will come up with the municipal and developmental agreement. But we should not put a contingency like that. We've already discussed that.
We've already said we would. Okay, any more discussion? All right, let's move on to a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, so we have 4 council members in favor, 1 abstaining. And that was due to a conflict of interest. Okay, action item number 3.
Approved resolution 2023-0302, a resolution awarding sponsorship of the annual Mountain Country Christmas Bazaar to a local nonprofit organization for a term of 2 years to include 2023 and 2024. A little background, this is an actual city event that we have someone manage on behalf of the city. It's basically their fundraiser. They provide the service and have this festival, or however you want to word it, for the locals and for tourists. In the past, the Women's Club of Alpine has been the one who's hosted it. They were awarded it for the prior 2 years. Every 2 years, we bring it back up and council gets to make that decision. It's been a rocky road. I know that the Women's Club has done an awesome job, but this year when we opened it up, we actually had 3 people come in. The Alpine Women's Club, the Bluegrass Festival, and then the Alpine Humane Society. I would like to give each one of those organizations, if council approves, an opportunity to come speak before you. I believe we have representatives from all of them here. I think it's important because this is the first time we've seen so much interest from other organizations that they kind of give you an idea of what they're going to do with it. It's not only a fundraiser for them, but the questionnaires which are provided in the packet, which were available for the public to review as well, kind of tells you what are you doing for the community and how does this fundraiser help your community. The only thing I do want council to be aware of is the only requirement the city has is the deposit for the Civic Center for incidentals, obviously. But otherwise, we provide the facility for them. So they have access to the Civic Center. They can set it up. They can manage it how they want. But that's where we're at.
Okay. Do we need a motion to, okay, so I need a motion to allow them to come up and speak.
I make a motion.
I need a second. Okay. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, all right. So, city manager, who would you like to call up first?
I believe the first applicant is the Women's Club.
Okay.
So we'll just go in order of the applications that are presented in your packets.
Okay,
And while she's coming up, so they just give a small deposit for incidentals, but they don't pay rent for the civic center. Do they clean and all that, or does the city do that? too?
So if they choose not to clean, we get the whole deposit. So the deposit is held for if something breaks. But also if they decide not to clean, then the city would take that fund and put it in towards the civic center rent.
Okay, I'm Jerry Davis, Ward 4, President of the Women's Club of Alpine. We have hosted Mountain Country Christmas for several years. The money we raise, I want to say about 95% of it stays in the community. We try to keep as much as possible. We contribute to Family Crisis, Sunshine House, Volunteer Fire Department, the schools, the elementary, the PTOs of the schools, Boy Scouts. We give a local Alpine student scholarship every year from it. And I know there's more I'm forgetting. But that's what our goal is to help other organizations, nonprofits and stuff like in the community that may not have the power, the people to do stuff. So, any questions?
You say 95% stays here. Where does the other go?
We are a national and worldwide organization. So we have dues we have to pay every year. And then we also have, our organization also has scholarships that we contribute to. And then we also have our state house is in Austin. That we contribute to the upkeep of that. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. That's it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry, do you have any questions or comments?
No,
Okay, all
Okay.
right, thank you.
Thanks, Ray. So the next one is the Big Bend Bluegrass Association.
Good evening. I'm Cindy Purdue. I'm the president of the Big Bend Bluegrass Association. We are a nonprofit and we're a little over a year old. And I applied to do this festival because I saw it as an opportunity to start raising some funds for the association because we are new and we're looking to start doing it, giving back to the community. We want to start a scholarship. Of course, it would be music related. And we wanted to explore other avenues that we could give back to the community, where it is needed. We already have a program that is a Play It Forward program, and it's an instrument lending program for kids from 8 to 21. We have a contract where we can lend them an instrument, but we are responsible for maintaining those instruments. So that's one way, where some of the funds would go to, should we have to maintain an instrument that we've lended out. So basically that's just the gist of it. Is I was looking to start networking with the community because I'm new here, and I want to take this opportunity to thank you for being supportive of our first event. It was a success. And so I'm just looking ways to give back.
Any questions, comments? Councilmember Johnson?
no.
Thank you.
The next organization is the Alpine Humane Society.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Janine Bishop. I'm the Executive Director of the Alpine Humane Society. We signed up to be considered for this because our intention on any proceeds from this from this event would be used for our continuing direct assistance to pet owners in our community for spay neuter services in particular, also vaccines, microchipping. And we had also been talking with the Alpine Animal Advisory Board on a program for community education around the importance of spay neuter vaccines and microchipping. In our work with Alpine Animal Services, of course, you know, we like to keep animals out of the shelter, stray animals off the streets, that kind of thing, and prevent unwanted litters, which are a huge burden on the city shelter. And so we feel like we have the digital infrastructure, the staffing to manage an event like this. We do manage a pop-up clinic every month throughout the region where we provide these services. And we like to continue to offer people subsidies for the cost of getting their animals cared for, whether it is spay neuter, or we also do assist with medical care at the local veterinarians. So that would be our intentions with this opportunity. We feel like we could handle it, and it's just one more way we can keep working with the pet owners in the community. Thank you.
Okay, any questions? Councilmember Johnson?
No,
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay. All right. So parliamentarian, are we at a motion and second?
Yes.
Okay,
We can make a motion with what organization they'd like to proceed with and get a second, and y'all can discuss.
I move that we award sponsorship of the annual Mountain County Christmas Bazaar to the Women's Club of Alpine. Although I agree that it's, you know, good ways that you're going to be using the money. I think it's more diversified. They help a larger amount of the public. And that's where I'd like to see it go.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion.
I agree with Chris. I mean, I think they're all good things. I think Terry and them have done a good job with it. And I appreciate that somebody else is going to come in here and do that. But have y'all never been and watched what they do? Are y'all busy down there, Terry? I'm gonna say. Yes. I agree. I think women's club's done a great job.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, let's vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. This is for the Women's Club for Mountain Country Christmas. Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, action item number 4, City Secretary.
Action item 4 is approved order 2023-0301. In order approving the certification of unopposed candidates for the May 6, 2023 general election.
Okay, I need a motion.
So
I'll
moved.
make a motion that we approve order number 2023-03-01.
Okay, I need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion. Let's vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, approved unanimously. Okay, action item number 5, City Secretary.
Action item number 5 is approved order 2023-0302. In order of cancellation for the unopposed Ward 1 and Ward 3 races for the May 6, 2023 general election.
Okay, I need a motion.
I so move.
Okay, I need a second. Okay, discussion. Let's vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, action item number 6, City Secretary.
Action item 6 is to approve order 2023-0303. In order approving the agreement between City of Alpine and Brewster County Election Administrator for election equipment and services for the May 6, 2023 general election.
Okay, I need a motion.
I so move.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, unanimous. All right, action item number 7, City Manager.
Approve a letter of support and partnership for the Afro Food, Fashion, Arts, and Dance Festival, Afro Fab Fest, to be held on September 28th through October 1st, 2023. This item is on the agenda because the individual is requesting the city to provide a letter of support and sponsorship because they would like to invite international dignitaries. And in order to invite some of these dignitaries, they have to show that this is a significant event and that the city does sponsor them because you want them to come over here. Annie is here with us tonight, and I'd like her to give you more of a background on this. She is putting this on currently this fiscal year without the city financial support. She did not apply for hot funds. She is looking at holding this over the weekend involving the Granada and the use of the city park. She's done a lot of work towards it. She's just asking for us to provide a letter, which is included in the packet, a sample letter that was provided by her. Just so that she can invite more people from all over the world to be able to join this event. And it's not just, you know, what she says, it's that food and fun. So I would like, after you guys make the motion, for the opportunity for Annie to give you a little bit more back.
Okay, I ask for a motion. I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, and discussion. All right, vote. All in favor, raise your right hand.
You don't want Annie to tell you anything?
She has a presentation here.
Oh, I just thought we were voting to let her present.
Oh, no.
Okay. All right, there we go.
So let me back up just to make it clear. The motion is to approve the
Partnership.
letter, the partnership letter. We're all, okay. Go ahead, Annie.
Good evening, everybody, and all protocols observed. My name is Annie Hiame, the CEO of Go Ghana LLC. Go Ghana LLC is a destination marketing company to promote the African countries to the US and then the US to the African countries. This evening, I'm here to present to you the festival that we want to promote here in the Big Bend region called Afrofab Fest. And Afrofab Fest is the Afro Food Fashion Dance, Arts and Dance Festival. And the theme of the festival would be celebrating community cultures the way forward. At first, I'd wanted to use diversity, but I found out that diversity is too vague. So I just changed the theme. So maybe in your pockets, you might have the wrong theme of the event. So with the food event, we're going to have American delicious foods, a barbecue party, and also the international community dish competition. We're going to use the chili beans and then yuca and peanuts. We're going to use these items because in Africa, we also use these items. And then here in the US too, most of the cultures here also use the same thing. So we're looking at an ingredient that everybody is accustomed to. So that's why we're using this for the food event. And then we're also going to have the barbecue party. And then in Africa, we call the kebab, we call it chichinga. So the party is going to be an outdoor grilling event on Saturday, September 30th at the Coconut Park from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. And there's going to be a family fun day event. And we know a lot of people are now vegetarians, but some of us still love our meat. So we will do the meat, and then the vegetarians too would also have their vegetarian options. And then those are some of the meat and the things that we'll be having. So a lot of people don't know what the yuca is. It's just like the yam, like in Africa, we call it like yam. So that's what the yuca looks like, in case some of you don't know what the yuca looks like. So those are the foods that will be cooking.
Annie, you're making us all hungry. It being dinner time and all.
Yes, so no, we on the of Alpine.
Which slide are you on?
Alpine,
Alpine.
yes.
Right there.
That one?
Yes. So the city of Alpine is a tourist and business destination with powerful sustainability programs, boasting of big skies reserves, giving incredible opportunities for stargazing. In Alpine, Texas, we have diversity, equity, and inclusion priorities. And then this festival meeting will prove to those outside of Alpine, Texas, that we are a great partner in business who can deliver exceptional creative experiences and check all the boxes for sustainability, diversity, cultural relevance, and deliver ROI on the financial side. Because a lot of people think Alpine is just for some few, but we want to use this festival to promote Alpine, to tell the world that we live together as siblings here in Alpine, and everybody's welcome here to do business, and then we all have fun. And then we're going to have a vendor activation during the event. We're going to have booths for those who would want to come in and sell. And then we're going to have various costs to every booth. And then it's going to start from $100. The $100 will be for all the days of the event. And then those are some of the things that will be exhibited: the arts and crafts, the clothing, and then all other things that will be sold there during the event. And then since I'm from Africa, and it has always been my dream that anywhere I find myself, I would, whatever good that comes from whatever I do, I would also give back to my home or my society. And then in Ghana, we have an NGO, we call it an NGO, not governmental organization in Ghana, as part of Go Ghana's company's responsibility called the High Frontier. And then we have our brothers and sisters who are blind and have asked for some support. So during the festival, we're going to have a form of fundraising dinner in order to support them as well. And then the theme of their mission would be changing lives a smile at a time, because most of them, the only thing they have is hope. And then they don't have anybody to help them do anything. And if the little we have and then we send to them, they'll be very grateful. So that's what we'll be doing for them. And then also during the festival, we're going to have a tale by the fireside. And that evening we'll set up a fire, and then we'll all sit around it, and then everybody will tell a story about from where he or she comes from. And then would have that with a cultural dance and then a musical entertainment. And then we are yet to find a venue for that because of the fire that will be certain. So we are yet to confirm where the fireside event will be, but it's going to be from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. because it has to be an evening event. Then it's still on the fruit because it's the festival is centered on event, it's centered on food and then cultural events. So those are the things that we'll be showcasing. And then we have the Afro fashion and gala dance. So with this one too, we're going to have a fashion show. And then this fashion show is also going to be open to all the other cultures, the Hispanic, the Oriental, and every other person who would want to participate in the show to also showcase whatever clothing line or items that they also have for them to reflect and then portray their origins and then their story. And then we have the tentative itinerary. This is subject to change. But at the moment, on Thursday, September 28th, will be arrival of attendees and then exhibition ground setup. And then on Friday, the 29th, we'll have an opening event at the Granada at 1 p.m. We'll have dance performances, we'll have speeches from dignitaries and other stakeholders. With those ones, the speakers are yet to be confirmed. And then we also have the trade show and business roundtable meetings. So with during the business roundtable meetings, we would have to let the world know what Alpine and then the Big Bend region has. And then if there's any investment opportunity that would want the outside world to also partake, that's when we also have to showcase those things for them. And then we're going to have an award ceremony and then the fundraising in honor of the blind people. And then that will be from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. for the award ceremony. And then because there's going to be alcohol served for those people, we cannot just do it in the park. It has to be at an enclosed place. And then we have to put measures in place where like we can make sure that there are nobody lower than the age required to attend those programs. And then with the award ceremony, what we're also thinking of doing is to award the companies who are going to sponsor this event, and then also give an award to the journalists who came here to Alpine. And Enoch, he works at Multimedia in Ghana. And the story he did on Alpine, now almost everybody in Africa knows where Alpine is. And I think he has to be rewarded on that. And then that would encourage other journalists and people to also come here and then also market Alpine. And then on the Saturday, on the 30th, we're going to have a street parade and then a Deba. In Africa, we have our chiefs and then our queens, and then they wear the kente clothing. So they will be in their clothes, and then the women to be in their slate and their beads and everything. So we would have the street parade and then the Deba in the morning, and then we'll continue the Kiba party. We'll have the cooking competition, we'll have the art and crafts exhibition, the Afro fashion show, dance, and then we'll also have a cage zone where we would have their playground where they can also participate in the event. And then on Sunday, we're thinking of having a church in the park so that since we'll still have to go back to the park to sell our wares, we would have a church in the park where those who would not have the time to go to church that day at least can still be there and sell their things and then also have the chance to still serve their God at the same time. And then in the evening, we're going to have a community dinner. And what I've realized is there's a lot of food wastage here in the US. So I'm trying to talk to one or two giant companies, food companies, who will be donating food items. And then that evening on Sunday, we're going to have a community dinner for free, and then everybody will come in and have dinner. And then that will be the end of the event. So on Monday, those who want to go back would have to go. So the event will be closed officially on Sunday evening after the community dinner. And then from Monday to October 2nd to the 6th, we're trying to have a poster for the international media travel team that will be coming. So we would take them to the Big Bend area, have a tour with them for them to have a closer look at what Alpine and then the Big Bend region has, because they are the people who can tell the story to the outside world better. So we're going to have that poster in collaboration with Visit Alpine and then Visit Big Bend. And then the target audience. So we're looking at the CEOs and then those who have businesses and those who make the final decisions in their companies. Those are the type of people that we are looking at to come down here in Alpine, to Alpine, because Alpine is far. We all know it's far, and then it's also needs to do with money. So those are the people who can spend money. So we're looking at those people. And then the countries that we're looking at, of course, Ghana, and then Senegal, South Africa, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Benin, Kenya, Ethiopia, Togo, and then the Caribbean. And then we're also talking with the African Chamber of Commerce in Dallas, Fort Worth, the Black Chamber of Commerce in the Persian Basin, and then the Caribbean Chamber of Commerce in Texas, and then the US Black Chamber of Commerce and a few other people. And then with the US Black Chamber of Commerce, they have grants for events like this. So they want companies to promote the US to the outside world. So if you're doing an event in the US and then the promotion of the event is 51% more than what you're doing to the outside, for the outside world, then you're entitled to a grant no less than $10,000. So those are some of the areas that we could tap into to get some money for funding, since the hot fund period is after summer, and then this event is going to come before the summer. So we need to raise money in order to make this event a successful event. And then the total number of people that we're estimating will be about 1,000 people, because apart from those who will be coming in, we're looking at those within the Big Bend area who would also be coming here. So we are estimating about 1,000 people within the 4 days of the festival. And then the planning of the event will be in consultation with all relevant community stakeholders. And then we'll have various national pavilion spaces that will be allocated during the festival, where businesses within the county, organizations, and institutions will market themselves to the country and then to the international world. And then this will be a platform to showcase one of the best hospitality events and then connect people. And then it's my dream that this international event would grow and also attract people from around the globe. And as such, it will be one of the few annual events in the Big Bend region with the potential of a global reach that is here to become a regular fixture on the international festival tourism circuit. In order to attract Alpine's share of growing markets, the Big Bend region needs to add this to all existing lists of events. And then why Alpine, Texas? Last year, we have developed a series of big wins for us, and Alpine is beautiful, extremely welcoming to everybody. So much emphasis is placed on financial and overall success of this event. We will also have the chance to show the visitors and our wonderful attractions and entertainment options we have to offer. It's entirely possible for someone to visit our city as an attendee of a conference and then later choose to relocate their business or family to Alpine. That was the same thing that happened to me. I came to Alpine in 2012, and ever since I've been dreaming of Alpine, and I've gone to all the big cities in the States, but I'm back here in Alpine, and I know most of them, when they come, the same thing is going to happen to them. And then this event will put the vision of Alpine Texas, our diversity program, which identifies tourism as one of the engines for economic growth in the Big Bend. And then the way forward, Go Ghana will showcase Alpine Texas like never before. And this is just the beginning. We are determined to host events that are culturally relevant and deliver global eyes on Alpine. Speaking of global, we are diligently covering our African market share, but looking to grow it well beyond our international media correspondent, Mr. Enoch Olanyu from Multimedia Ghana. We know this event will generate significant interest in the media exposure about Alpine, and it's our job to make sure we turn that interest into booked businesses. And then with the event, what I've realized is that here in Alpine, we have the best of the season, and we could do so many other things like sporting events. So we're thinking of having other events apart from the AfroFab Fest. That one, we're going to name it the Mayor's Cup. With that one, we're going to have the soccer festival. We're going to have basketball and other items. So that's what we're trying to do.
That was a good presentation, Annie. You put a lot of thought into this. So are you saying that it's going to be like a multicultural thing where you're
Yes.
inviting people to participate from the various cultures?
The
that-
various cultures, yes.
Okay.
I have a question, Annie. On the letter, it states, I think it's a wonderful idea too,
Okay.
but just to be sure that we're giving what they need and if we can. It says that they need federal backing from the city.
No, the reason being that with this letter of support, because we're going to invite dignitaries, they cannot just get up and come on their own accord. They need a letter or an event that shows that wherever the event is going to happen, the city or whatever town knows of it, and then they are also aware, and then they are also aware that such a program is going to happen. And you cannot just say it like a word of mouth. There should be something to prove that something of that sort is going to happen. Like, sorry, I want to show you something.
So I guess my question is, so it's just a letter from the city, just a municipality. It doesn't have to be on a federal level or anything.
No, it's just from the
That's
city.
all I was asking, because it said federal. I just wanted to make sure we
Oh,
were.
okay, so that's probably. I don't know the difference between the federal and the census. Yeah, so like, okay, so like something like this. I got this today from a company who wants me to market their events. They also do events globally. And then they want me to help people from, like, ask people from Ghana. They want those in the governmental institutions from Ghana to attend their events. And then in order for me to be able to invite those people, I need something like this. And then that's what they gave me. So if I find the event that will be suitable for whatever sector, I would have to add this to it for them to know the capacity in which I'm inviting them. Yes, so that's the reason why I'll need the letter of support.
And you said that hot funds are not.
No, the hot fund, the time of assessing it is over. I can only assess it for summer. Summer for next year's implementation. Yes.
Yeah, so you're behind, right? Any other questions, comments, thoughts? Councilmember Johnson?
It was a very well presented case for her activity this fall.
Yeah, you've put a lot of thought into that.
A lot of work went into that. Thank you.
Yes. All right, thank you.
Thank
Annie.
you.
All right, so let's vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, it's unanimous. All right, so we've approved the letter of support. Okay, council member comments. All right, Miss Councilmember Stokes.
I'd like to thank Don and Andrea and Darren for their presentations. Jerry, Cindy, and Janine, thank y'all for all applying. Why anybody would want to do that big event, I don't know, but you know, whatever. Thanks Annie for her good presentation. Thanks to Kathy and Chris for talking about the library. You know, I don't know. Off the top of my head, you know, I'm not a numbers person. I don't know what we give them, but they're doing a lot over there. And yes, Karen, we will try to pave the road, but you know, that's on Megan's list.
Right.
And I went and I installed a dark skies compliant fixture at my house from True Value. So Bob Ward has them, and even I could afford it.
Excellent.
So
Thank you.
that's all I have to say.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
That is, Karen, on the schedule. They just cannot do paving, apparently something to do with cold weather or something like that. It has to be done in the summer or something like that.
March, I think.
So it is, I think.
There's a lot more.
It is in the
Yes.
in the works. I mean, it's
Be done correctly.
Yeah.
All right, Councilmember Tandy.
I want to thank Texas Disposal for coming out today and picking up all of that mess that was out there in my ward. People put stuff out and they came and picked everything up and it was nice and clean. So I was pretty impressed with that. So shout out to them.
Thank you. Councilmember
No
Sindall.
comment.
Okay. Councilmember Johnson.
Another good meeting, well prepared by the city staff and the city council. And I enjoyed the meeting and look forward to more. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right, and I just wanted to say that we have an absolutely amazing library here. I have never lived anywhere else that had a library quite like that, where you could go and check out a sewing machine or seasonal pots and pans. I didn't even realize there was such a thing. But that's pretty amazing, and let alone the 3D printer and the robotics. And I like all the math and science and robotics. Of course I would. And then it's nice to know, you see pretty often on Facebook, people are looking for notaries. Well, there's one at the library. The classes that they had, there's such a variety of them, and there's so many of them. It's just, I find it very impressive, and I'm glad that they are proactive and are out doing fundraisers and looking for grants and things like that too, to keep it going, because we don't want to lose that service. And then, of course, I'm grateful for the Family Crisis Center and all the hard work that they do, and the little bit of support that we can help keep the lights on and things like that. And then, of course, all the applicants for Mountain Country Christmas. And then Annie, for everything that she has put together. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Her dream to have the festival here and to make it broad, more multicultural. So I'm just really impressed. Okay. All right, so with that, before we go into executive session, we need to take a recess. So 5-minute recess. I need to recess.
Let's do this from the meeting.
Ready when you are, Mayor.
Ready? Okay. So that brings us to item number 11, executive session pursuant to chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. The city council reserves the right to convene into executive session from time to time as deemed necessary during this meeting for any posted agenda item or to receive advice from the attorney as permitted by law. Tonight, the city council will recess into executive session pursuant to section 551.074 personnel matters to conduct the annual performance assessment of the city manager. May I get a motion?
I make a motion.
Okay, may I get a second?
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to recess into executive session. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we will proceed to a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, it's unanimous.
Can you announce the time?
Mhm. Okay, the motion to recess into executive session passes unanimously. We are recessing into executive session at 7:12 PM. Okay. Okay, okay, may I please have a motion and a second to reconvene into open session? I need a motion.
I so move.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to reconvene into open session. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we will proceed to a vote. Yes, all in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. Okay, passed unanimously. And the motion, it passed unanimously. We reconvening into open session at 8:08 PM. All right, so this brings us to item number 12, action after executive session. So based on the evaluations, council evaluated performance of the city manager. She received a vote of confidence from council and will be provided with expectations and a salary discussion on March 21st, 2023. Can I have a motion to accept the evaluation on the city manager?
I so move.
Okay, I need a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, let's vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. That passed unanimously. Okay, may I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting?
I so move.
Okay, second.
I'll second.
All right, we are finished.